Hello and welcome to the channel. This is where I'll be doing some recording on how I manage my stock portfolio. This is a test to see how it goes. I'll be doing this for a year, probably, if I can stay afloat. We're gonna test this out till roughly September, as long as I'm being profitable. And I will show you in a few of these videos how I am managing the account. I'm not really day trading, I'm not really options trading. I'm more of a swing trader. I'm doing scalping, highs and lows. You'll see some of these numbers are in the negative due to the fact that I'm a long trader. So yeah, I'm waiting on some of these to come back through before I can take profit. So with that being said, I'm going to walk you through my account. I have the overall numbers hidden. Just going to basically to show you the strategy that I use for marking highs and lows. The purpose of this really is to be more for chart analysis. I'm not always right. So disclaimer there, it's going to be a bumpy road. So we'll see what happens. Happy New Year, everybody. It's January 2nd, 2026. All right, so to start off with the Robinhood account, since that's what I've started using since it opened up back when sold out, stopped using and they sold out. I was practicing with Thinkorswim for the previous roughly 5 years. And when they sold out, and Robinhood opened up their Robinhood Legend platform, I just started using it. Yes, it's very beginner friendly, but it's also easy to navigate, and they offer plenty of drawing tools and whatnot. So the way I've set it up is I have a 6-pack here of some favorite stocks that I like, and as well opened a second tab and have another 6-pack of some favorite stocks. So what I do daily is I start with one of these, and I'm gonna sort of show you. I'll just walk through it here. So with the IVV S&P, I've marked out a trend line basing back to the growth since, let's see, May 2025, summer of last year. It's been a solid growth since then. We got up, continuing growth. We got a little double cap here, so I sold off some here, bought some back down here, so it leaves me an average right around this mid range. And for some reason, my estimate just disappeared. Let's see if I can go over the chart and get it back. Yeah, there we go. So anyway, estimate here, bought here. So yeah, my average is, yeah, there's a little, that was weird. Anyway, I'm down here, thinking about buying some back under this low right here, but we're waiting to see how low this gets before I buy some back. I'll probably just get maybe a couple shares down here. All right, so on to GEV. GEV's been acting weird since GE split and became their own back in, I guess, 2 years ago. They've been doing really great. I think I sold a little bit here at the top. We have a sideways trend going on, so I think I was averaging right in the middle of this trend, and I was eating it into the red. And when it finally stumped up right here, I got rid of some, just a few. I maybe had like 10, then went up to the top of this trend right here, and I went ahead and got out a little early, but I got out. Of course, they kept going, and now they're back down. So even though I have a marked sell point right here, it's I'm kind of waiting for them to come back down. They may keep growing here, but because I have a trend here, it's roughly a 3-month, maybe 4 or 5 month trend there. So let's see when that was. July. Yeah, so like a 6-month trend. You know, that's not to be ignored. So we're hoping that it maybe has another dip and I get back in over here. I threw in a limit buy just in case it does a little trickle down. Sometimes it can grab that, and it's a good indicator, so you can see that it's gonna grab. I've been following INSW, International Seaways. They swing some. They don't swing great. Let's see what. And then I grabbed this one. These are a little high. I'm just gonna leave it like that. So International Seaways, they have a great dividend. I mean, it was like 9%. I think it was up to 10% whenever I was in it at first. Luckily, I got out up here when it broke this trend. I think I got back in anyway, so you see my average there. Yeah, like 9% dividends. So that's the only reason I have so much of International Seaways is because the dividends are great. So yeah, I'm tracking that. I got some more. That's weird. I had a buy bubble here. I guess I deleted it, but anyway, my buy bubble was about right here. So that's where I got in a lot more to bring my average down. Let's see here. So we go to Amazon. Amazon kept expecting a better like Christmas peak, and it wasn't coming. So we got a little support level down here. I think I was in at the low. Our trend, let's see where our trend is coming from. I moved it again. Rookie mistake. So our trend is actually a pretty long one. Let's see. You can see I like to use RSI and the MACD, convergence, divergence. They're both really helpful. Let's fix this a little bit here. So there's a nice trend. We'll grab the top of that one, top of this one. There we go. And I think I'm grabbing this over here and this over here. So this is a swing low, but I'm gonna stay on this strong because I have 1, 2, 3 points on that. So yeah, I expected more out of Amazon this season. I mean, it did get to like a good 250 range, come back down. I mean, that was November though, so like looking for something right before Christmas, it never really came. So Santa didn't come this year. Looks, I don't know. I got to buy here because it's kind of an average purchase. I would be okay with this, buying this support level here and getting back in with a couple. If it gets down here, obviously, I'll get in more. Sometimes I put an indicator for how many that I would like to get down here. So if it gets down that low, we'll grab 5. So there's that. Amazon. Let's see. I'm not going to talk about this right now because this was an actual This is an experiment, so we thought that this was going to bounce. Let's see, there was a double cap here, so it's kind of a sign for a bearish pattern. Although we had somewhere on one of these scales there was a bounce. Maybe the 5-minute. Anyway, there was a bounce that I was willing to play. I think it was back here, and give me 1 minute. Anyway, I think it was this one here, and it was one of these two. So I went ahead and got in, even just in case the market kept growing at this point. Go figure, as soon as I get in, it starts dumping. So I'll be making this one back over a longer period of time. It sucks, but it's part of trading. You have to be patient. So I'm going to buy to cover this one. We'll be able to get in. I went ahead and grabbed one on this level down here, and I'm looking for my next buy down here. So this is actually, it was looking really good this morning. Got down to 6,888, but kind of looking to see, just being patient, waiting to see if it gets low. I have a whole strategy that I could talk about with futures. It's not, I have risk calculations and all that, so I can discuss that any other day. But to be moving on, we have Nvidia. Nvidia's finally growing again. It's kind of at the top of a trend, top of a July, top of a 6-month trend. I might go ahead, what I like to do when it starts reaching the top of a trend is put a trailing stop in. So if it gets up here to the higher end of this trend, I will follow it with a trailing stop, and so that'll protect my profits on that. So let's go over to the other 6, and let's see. I need more coffee. So Pfizer, I also like due to their, I'm not getting a lot of swing right now. I did grab the previous swing, this one I profited from, so that was nice. Put in a trail there and caught quite a bit of profit there. But let's see, then I got back in. I have an average down here. It's another one. Pfizer's another one that's really good because of the dividends. The dividends are just, well, it used to be great. What are they now? 6. I think they're in the 6s. So I like Pfizer just due to the fact that they're going to be paying me dividends. And if they swing up again, I have this guy placed up here similar to this mountain peak here, so that if it hits that, then I can go ahead and take profit. Palantir, Nancy Pelosi stock. That's been trending since May. Again, this is the summer of 2024. I said 6 month earlier. That's a year and 6 months. So it's not 2025 anymore. So that'd be a year and 6 month trend. Here's July 2025, right in here. So 6 months from here. Anyway, steady growth for a year and a half. This is a double cap, so that's a little bit concerning. But I think I sold out up here quite a bit. We're looking for the bottom of this trend, hopefully to see a turnaround. Left myself a note here. I used to leave a note in shares, but now I think I'm going to start doing share. Just go ahead and do the calculation, because the calculation of shares is always different, of course, with how much money you want to spend. So I just started to set myself like how much money, like what's my cap per stock. I used to do like the more important stocks that I found value in, um, I would have a larger cap for that. And then if it was like if I like a puny stock or something that I'm not like as impressed with their numbers, then I would do a lower cap. I've kind of changed my strategy since then, and because when you're swing trading, you want to be kind of all in for the run, and then like just imagine this Pfizer run here. Like if I was only in a certain amount it's because of it being a small stock, I would have missed out on that growth opportunity. So if you just cap yourself at a certain how many thousands or hundreds that you want to put into it, you could be in this run right here, and sell, put a trailing there. So anyway, I'm starting to do dollar amounts instead of share sizes, and all of my stocks basically be a similar cap, if that makes sense. So Palantir, yeah, if it rejects this lower trend and respects the pattern, I'll be getting in. Roughly this amount. Let's see. Microsoft, of course, I've kind of been long on Microsoft for a long time. Microsoft changed CEOs recently, I think. Or is that? I mean, I know Berkshire did. I think. I can't remember what their news was, but they had news back here that definitely affected it big time. Had a big fall off. Anyway, we're hovering middle trend here, so kind of waiting to see. I don't think that they'll get to lower trend just because it's Microsoft. I think this is. I mean, you see their steady growth. This looks like a hard pullback, and I don't believe that they'll really ever get down here. So that being said, I've set my buy a little bit higher. It's getting close to triggering one, and then I can calculate. I don't know. I like even numbers, so I might go for 3 here just to make it 10 shares, and go long. But excuse me. It's actually looking like a good buy there. I might would grab it if it hit down like below 470. All right, that's Microsoft. I'm going to Visa. Visa has also been. They've been trending pretty hard, following this trend like regular since this summer, up down. So I've been following this the whole way. I've been selling, buying, selling, buying, selling, on this trend level, for at least 3 or 4. And we passed up here, and I sold in this red, and then I had one lingering share that I actually let go of right here on a trail, because we have a really strong volume. So with this being topped out, I went ahead and trailed that last one, and I'm hoping to see it come on down whenever we see this kind of regulate down in the 50s or whatever. I'll be looking for a good buy point to get back into Visa. Been bouncing all around 350 for a long time on Visa. So Visa's a good long though. I mean, it's if you look at Visa on a long. Did I just move that again? Man, I have not done that ever. And then I start recording, and then I move all my lines around. It's really strange because it's being recorded. It's not. There we go. That's weird. So I have a couple dots out here. This is for if you change up these lines and you go for, let's see what it was. I think it was from this high to this high, and you cross over here, and then you come from this low to this low, and you cross over here. This is a point of convergence. So a lot of times you see the market, it doesn't keep going bullish or keep going bearish at a point of convergence. There's going to be a breakout, and we're either going to decide whether we're going high or low. So that's kind of a point of convergence. If you go long, this is another point of convergence, even back further. So that's what those represent with Visa. When we get to this point, we're going to be sort of a deciding factor on which way we're going. Probably to the upside. I mean, this might be the breakout here. We might go ahead and start breaking out from this point. So you don't really want to miss the boat if you're long, but we're going to see if we get low again here. So that's part of swing trading. Like I want to get in low and get out high. I don't want to just sit on it forever. All right, so let's go back to, now that we messed that up and fixed it. Okay, gold, of course, looking good, always rising, right? I could get in more whenever this gets low. I'm just going to be watching RSI on gold. I'm not going to buy it if it's above 70. I'm just going to wait for a small dip. I'm really kind of long on gold anyway. I'm not trying to like swing trade gold. A few of these I'm not trying to swing trade, but I will if they go ridiculous, like Microsoft. If it goes ridiculous like this, I'll swing trade it and get rid of it. But for the most part, I'm long on it. Broadcom, AVGO, it made me suffer back here. Let's see. They have a good long trend since the summer. We fell off last month. It's actually a good time to buy. I mean, so what I did actually is I sold here. And sometimes this scale messes me up. We'll move it down. I sold right here around this red circle that I put at the top of a trend. So I actually did get out, and you can see my average line is down here. So whenever it hit, when I saw this gap, when I saw it gap to the lower side, I went ahead and got back in. So we're at this average here. Continued to dip down further. I think it's going to sort of hover here because it's a hard 3-month low. I respect a lot about the 3-month chart. I used to just swing trade 3-month highs and lows. So if we're on a 3-month low, you can click 3-month and go to the lower end of the chart. If it's anywhere around that price like it is now, 350, I mean, that's a buy in my opinion. Just for the simple fact that it's a low price for that stock. That's a lot of my thesis is just what has the stock done in the past, and is it a low for its current state, and grab it. I mean, that's what the market is, right? If it's a good deal for what it is. Try not to overcomplicate things. All right, now that we've done our 2 6-packs, I'm not going to go into futures too big right now. I went ahead and grade this area out. Yeah, the market's doing this thing right now. So it's going to be a video for growth from this point on. It's whatever. So struggling right now. It's a hard start to a year, but we're going to hopefully have a good growth year and watch that come back. Sorry, this coffee is okay. So what I do now after I do my 6-packs, because I've got like 12 stocks that I really like to watch, I have all my positions obviously over here, and what I like to do is go ahead and start at the top of the list, and I just roll through them. I do this daily. I want to make sure that everything is satisfactory. Do I want to go? Basically, I'm asking myself, do I want to get in? Do I want to sell immediately? Do I want to get in if it gets down to a certain price? So go ahead and set like a trailing buy, or do I want to sell if it gets up to a certain price? Trailing stop. Do I want to put in a stop market? All that kind of stuff. So This was a nice trend on Apple, but if you zoom out, um, they're at like a top of a trend here, and they've been going straight. Like you see, the short trend is straight up, so it's kind of like I don't expect it to do much more. I probably December last month probably should have hit it with a trailing up here. I think I did trail out a lot, so I only have 5 now. But we're just kind of, I mean, I'm kind of long on Apple. I mean, you can see their growth. So I'm really just looking forward to like, I'm staying in 5 in case this keeps going, right? But then if it recedes down to this lower limit here, I'm in again. So that's where I'm at on Apple. Willing to see this. This is important when it comes to swing trading and learning patience. But if this goes in the negative, it's okay, right? Like you're not looking at, oh no, I'm losing $20. You're looking at, oh well, what did Apple do in the last 5 years? Oh wow, they went from $130 to 270. So that's what we're looking at. Archer. So Archer Aviation, I just heard about them back when they kind of started opening up and we were down here. I was happy to get in down here, get out up here whenever it peaked really hard, super good climb there. And then we watched it fall back down, and then I got in probably at this one back here. So it did another, I think I sold again. I don't really remember, but anyway, I'm back in down here. Kept falling. So again, negative a little bit. This is a great startup company. They're looking at air taxiing their drones for the Olympics next. Is it next year? They're looking at whenever the Olympics is. They're looking at using their drones to air taxi some of the athletes. So I'm not huge into startups. I like the larger cap companies, but I figured why not? Let's go ahead and put there we go, $1,000 into Archer just to see like where they're gonna go, what they're gonna do. All right, let's go on. Well, we've already talked about Amazon. So the great part about this list is like my 12 pack is already over here that I've already went over. So if I'm on one of these stocks that I've already gone over on my start of the day with these 2 charts, I just skip over it to continue on to make my analyzing a little faster. And you might say, why not just make more of these tabs? You can hit it right here. And the only issue with that is if you make more tabs, for some reason, Robinhood Legend doesn't put the tabs over here and give you plenty of space. They cram them in on this side, and then you can't read them anymore. So I'm happy with the amount of tabs that I have here. I don't want to cram any more in. So if you're listening and you're a Robinhood Legend software designer, just help me out. Put the tabs over here. That would be nice. All right. Archer, Amazon, we've already went over in our 6 pack over there. ATO, Atmos Energy. I mean, I just basically looked up like who's got the biggest energy in the United States. Like, you want to be in the bigger electricity companies, the bigger natural gas companies, things like that. So we got Atmos Energy is a large one. I believe it's out west. I've been growing strong since 23 there, January 2024. So a couple years of solid growth. And they are at a low trend status. So I'm in right here. I'm in. And we're going to see that bounce and climb, of course, or fail. But invest at your own risk. I'm in right here because I see a climb. This is a strong bull pattern and $168. So I'm in a little bit on them. AVGO already went on. Man, AutoZone is a story in its own. I made a mistake on AutoZone because I moved it again. What is up with that? I gotta start watching where I'm clicking. Stop moving these charts around. AutoZone is a good, strong climb, like consistently strong climb. I just thought that maybe it would just be continuing to go bullish. The same mistake that I made on IVV futures. It looks strong bull, so I was like, why not? It might just keep going. And the minute you turn your head, it dives. So yeah, it happens, but you just gotta weigh your risk accordingly. I got in here. Of course, I do trade some margins, so I'm doing some calculations on how much the interest is going to cost me over the year and stuff like that to make sure that I can break even. Yeah, AutoZone, I was in over here. I was going to get out up here, and I missed, and there it went. So grabbed again down here, and then I grabbed again down here. And I was actually could have got out right here in the green in time for the second dive, but I didn't. If you don't know, AutoZone bought back a lot of their shares, which is sort of a negative look on their stock value. But then they opened up. They're trying to get a bunch of cash so they can open up a bunch of stores. So if you're doing well enough as a company to open up a bunch more branches, that's how I view this as like, okay, they're not going broke. They're doing okay in business, and they're about to start banking from all these stores, right? So that shows me that it's a time to get in, not a time to be scared. So I'm in. I mean, if it wasn't such an expensive share, I would be jumping in now big time. This is not financial advice, but man, they just pulled out a bunch of money so that they can open up a bunch of stores, and yeah, boom. Let's go ahead, and if I wasn't in, I would be like, boom. Okay. Anyway, that's AutoZone. Back to positions. Bitcoin is interesting these days. Nobody knows where it's going. Just chilling with that. FedEx, another Christmas watch list that you're like, are they going to go or are they not? They have a strong growth back here during COVID to the top of this trend chart. So we're almost in the middle of this larger trend. This is a short growth trend. I don't know. I sold at the top of this short growth trend, waiting to see if it comes back down to this area here, which now it's looking more like this area here. So we can actually adjust that a little bit. I doubt there's going to be a huge dive. You can see the level 2 status, a bunch of buyers coming in there anyway. So that's me joining them. Yeah, if they come back to that, I'm in. If not, I'm waiting. I don't remember what their dividend is, but it's not excellent. Not as good as UPS. So you can also see your RSI level here, strong overbought condition. So we're looking at a possible downside coming soon to a theater near you. Okay. What's next on the list? GLD. I already went over GLDM. So when my son gets money for, I found out that they have a mini shares, GLDM. So when my son gets like birthday money or Christmas money or whatever, I'm like, hey, I'm investing that for you, and this is where it goes. So if you give my son money, it's going into gold pricing. This follows the price of gold. So he had like $50. Now he's got 57. So, that's just investing for you. Like, invest wisely. It could come down, keep going. But if you look at like 5-year gold price, yeah, there's that. So Robinhood, trading platform that I'm on, and there's a lot of stocks that I watch that aren't on my positions list. If you go to my, I don't have my phone on me, but if you go to my list of the watch list things that I follow on Robinhood, it's like a list of like 70 long. Um, it's I don't know. Like Charles Schwab, Berkshire Hathaway. I haven't looked at them in quite a while. There's a few that I like prefer to be in. Tesla, I'm not in right now. Sometimes if it comes to my mind, I'll just shoot over there like to the chart and look it up. I'm out of Tesla just because I feel like they've gotten really high and ooh, they're coming back down. So yeah, I might be getting in Tesla fairly soon. There's a support trend here, and it's nearing the bottom of it. Let's go ahead and draw that out. Yeah. So if we reach like the bottom of that, if that's getting closer to this, I'm in on Tesla, and I have a buy there. So I might move that buy up to there, and we'll just see what it does. If it grabs or continues to go down, I'll be in the buy if this becomes oversold. But yeah, so if I'm thinking of other stocks on my watch list, I will just look them up and trade accordingly. But I try to do most of my attention on like my positions. Obviously, Robinhood is tanking. I'm in there with a 3 trail right in here, so when they turn around, I'll be in. Like I said, I like even numbers, so I'll be in up 30, and that's sort of my that stays within my 4 cap limit, which is kind of what I've set for myself. Don't want to be in any single stock more than like $4,000 unless I'm already in it in the past, and that's okay. So yeah, strong trend pattern for Hood. And this is a big pullback, so we expect to see the next time the market grows, to bust through this line right here and take me with it. I'm okay with that. Hood's been doing a lot with their banking status. They've opened up a bank. They've opened up credit card lines. They're just trying to stay in the money game as much as they can. So I just foresee them just doing well in the future, and doing tons of giveaways. So yeah, Robinhood's definitely something that I'm following. Let's see, I've already done International Seaways, ITDG. You can see what I'm doing, just going down the list here. And so I got a few more to cover with you guys, and then I will end this video. ITDG is a something that sort of tracks like similar to a 401k life plan. So you would pick like how old you are when you want to retire, sort of thing. So like I put it, I don't know, 55 or something. I just picked a lower number, and it's sort of following like a retirement account would. So sort of steady growth. It kind of tracks S&P. It's just something to be in sort of long with. Yeah, I don't have like a ton of it, but I have enough to follow it, I guess. I haven't been in it a super long time. I've only been in ITDG. Like, that's a strong double cap right there. A lot of resistance at this level of 38. It's kind of like an ETF. I mean, it doesn't like glide smoothly. It bounces. You see the candles bounce. Like they'll close here and then open up $1 higher, and then close here and open up higher, and then you see all the gaps in here. So it's kind of interesting how they trade. But I've still, sold at some of these peaks here and bought back in down here. So We're going to see where that takes us. And Microsoft, Nvidia sort of went over. They're kind of risky if you ask me. I mean, Nvidia is huge and they're big growth, but like the minute that people don't like them, it's like it's gonna be a hard tank. The whole AI boom is like whenever Nvidia started. When they started tanking here, like, and they peaked this and then they tanked again and again, especially when they got down here, Nvidia just like the whole market followed. I mean, S&P followed, everybody started freaking out. I guess they have a very large cap, lots of money in the market. So I'm in, but I'm also cautious because they're so big. All right, Palo Alto Networks, cybersecurity. There's a little bit of sideways trading going on here, but I'm following a longer trend of 2023. So a couple years. It's looking like a good buy, especially if you go to the 3-month like I used to do. I mean, it's 3-month low. It's probably almost a year low. Anyway, it's really good on the lower end here with Palo Alto. So again, get out up here. Just got my buy set for here at the lower end of the trend line. So I went ahead and got back in. We'll wait. We'll just sit here and wait for the turnaround. That's pretty much all it is to it. And I mean, what I've found with swing trading and just monitoring a trend and getting in low and getting out high is you can probably beat the average, like S&P 12 to 14%. I mean, you're not going to do it's not going to be millionaire status, but you're going to be, beating the odds. So they say, it's more about time in the market than timing the market, and I agree with that for most long positions. But I've had a lot of payouts because of timing the market, so I can't just completely ignore what I've seen on paper. I mean, this is timing the market, and the next upscale it goes, I'm in there with it. So it's sort of like, yes, timing the market is not ideal, but also like if you're timing the market and you're in at the right time, then you're in the market and you're going to get the growth. So anyway, Palo Alto Networks, I bought here on this uprise here. It's dipping down again, and then we'll wait for it. Pfizer, I've already been over. Palantir, I've already been over. I decided to get into Royal Caribbean just because that's what we took our cruise on, and I really liked it, and I feel like they're a newer cruise line. It's not like MSC or like somebody that's been around for like ages, but they felt really, not to mention they bought their own island. I mean, when they bought Coco Key, it's like, an amusement park. And if you can afford your own island and build an amusement park on it, and I think that was around, like we went, let's see, it wasn't April 25, it was this April back here. It was our 5-year anniversary, so it was like right around here, and they had like just opened one of the beaches on that island, so it was fairly sort of fresh. I don't remember, it was probably 2019 when they actually opened the island. So let's see if we got 2019. Not quite. So since they've sort of opened, you had a fall off, like but since I'd say this area right here, 2022, they also had to endure COVID, so that's a little bit of fall and leveling off. But since COVID, they've had pretty steady growth, and I feel like once you pay off an island, or you get a certain like payoff plan as a millionaire, I don't know how that works, but you built a theme park on an island and you start getting it paid off, you're going to start profiting really well. And I just feel like that's what this is the profit that you see. So yeah, I've been in Royal Caribbean since we went on our 5-year anniversary, and I think I've sold and bought maybe once or twice. I don't know where I'm at now as far as their profit on this stock alone, but I was probably in somewhere right here in this dip, and I think I'm in again down here, and it averaged me out. So let's see, 2,800. I could sort of afford to risk a little more right in here as a buy, but it's also a cruise line and it's winter, and it's weird. You would think that a lot of people go cruising in the winter just to get away, but I feel like the majority of people wait till summer because it's a summer activity. So, here's July, August peaking, and then I don't know, I guess it peaked in December too. So you can't always look at the season, but it being low and it being December, I just feel like I'm going to wait until it's higher on the trend line before I start monitoring any sells with them. If other stocks profit, then I'll bump this up right here. But I'm sort of at a hold, like with my entire account. I'm just holding and sort of waiting, unfortunately. And I'm going to pause this right. All right, and I'm back. Gonna get some water. So yeah, this was at my break even, Royal Caribbean on 22nd, a couple days before Christmas Eve. So we'll see. We'll see where they go and decide whether we're going to get back in or not on that. Starbucks is an interesting one because they decided to change a lot of their locations from like dine in to just like walk in and grab your coffee, I guess like a to-go situation. And they also closed a ton of their stores. Not sure exactly the date, but it was either here or here. So yeah, huge decline there. We have a point of convergence that I've talked about over here. So we're going to see kind of what happens with that. I mean, Starbucks is like a steady growing. It's weird. It does some like high fluctuation here, but we're at a very bottom of a tall growth opportunity. If you look at their last, 2021, 23, and 25, we've had some strong peaks, some strong ups and downs. So because of that, these three peaks here, I'm sort of looking for the next one. Hence my big red circle up here. I don't really want to get in. Some things I like to do a day trade on, but like I did a couple times here. I think I got from here to here, bought and sold, got back in, but like don't really feel comfortable selling at the top of this trend because I don't want to miss out on this trend. So, there's a larger deal here. And it looks like we're respecting this trend line a little bit. You can see that it tested and came back on that wick. So, yeah, I'm just monitoring this. Don't really know, what to do with it. If you have any input on what to do with Starbucks, yeah, let me know in the comments. I think Starbucks has a little bit of a dividend. So part of the reason, I want to stay in is because their dividend is there. But yeah, we're waiting to see if there's going to be a point of growth here or if everybody's going to turn on Starbucks and they're going to stay on the low and slow. So maybe I'll get 15 shares. If it gets down in this region, this is a definite buy down here. That's where I bought before, is on this bottom. This bottom line has never really been tested. That's like a slow growth on the last, since 2018. We've had this minor support line here that's, or I guess you could call it a major line that's never been really pushed the boundaries of. So anyway, Starbucks is chilling. SRE is another fuel. Sempra, another energy company. I think they are also natural gas. And I just kind of started them. They're 89 per share. I'm not really like into them heavy yet. I haven't made anything off of them yet either. Let's see. There we go. I like market value. It shows me where I'm at. So typically over here, I like to look at market value to see where I'm at, like as far as how much I'm bought in, and that's why I like to give myself a cap of like 4,000 so that I can know if I'm in over my head or at a good spot. And then I also like to look at these two columns, what I've got it at and where it's currently at, so you can see the difference. 80, 84. So that's gives you a good range to follow. All right, and SRE, Trump is a joke coin. It started out at like $40 and now it's at $5. So you can see the difference there. Yay, 30 bucks gone. Yeah, that was just to see if he was like, if it was gonna take off and people liked him or people were gonna hate him, and you could see where that ended up. So that was basically like when he got elected, he opened that that coin. UPS, oh my gosh, this is another one that's tough subject. UPS has like 9% dividends, so like they're kind of paying my rent, so to speak. I mean, I don't have rent, but they're paying me dividends every quarter. They're like 9%. I wish I had my phone on me. I could tell you the exact percentages, but in future videos, I will talk about some dividends as well. But UPS, nonetheless. Oh, why is that looking all faded? What is the deal with that? It's acting kind of weird. This is the first time I've recorded my screen on Robinhood or anything for that matter. So I'm learning, and it's sort of acting weird too. This is the dividend I'm getting back from UPS because I got in it so heavy, and now we're waiting to hit a break even. This madness is my purchases and some, like, as if it was bought on margin, an interest payoff schedule. Like, these are my break evens over here, and basically in a year, I'll have $70 of interest that I owe. So like, if I break even here and then make 70 bucks, my break even will be $70 over this. Whenever this is plus 70 bucks, I'll be at my break even. So that's basically that story. I was in UPS over here and profited, and then it started to fall again, and I was in long in the past for their long growth, and then they started falling, and then they fell and fell and fell, and then I think it was around 140. So I like to look at this number here as I move my cursor around. There's 140 right in here. So anyway, these represent my buys. So I bought in a little bit, buy, I kept buying. When it got down here, I bought 50. That was my point. That was my breaking point where I was like, all right, I'm not buying anymore. Now we're doing this dip here, and Carol Toom is the CEO. Apparently, I got some friends that work UPS, and they've talked some positive, some negative about that situation, and told me a little bit about what's going on there, and they're trying to automate a lot of stuff and make it robotic, and do some layoffs and all that stuff. So that's a lot of what you see here, back in here. Didn't really know how long it was going to trickle on for, but it keeps trickling on. And here's a little turnaround, which is good. If we see a break of structure here, it's a really good sign at 106. I mean, I'm happy to be back at 102 from the 80s that we were at. Break of structure at 106, change of character, if it continues, would be great. We'll be back at our break even. I'll continue to get $164 a quarter. By the time it reaches break even, all of my dividends will be kind of counted as profit. And the thing is, it might seem like I'm in heavy on UPS, but if I stayed long with them and they reached a peak of where they were capable of up in the 200s, then that's like an extra 10 grand. So, that's kind of explains why I'm staying in UPS, because if they had a growth potential like this, again, I would be a very happy man. So anyway, that is the bulk of me going over my stocks. This is not financial advice. This is simply me doing some chart analysis and playing with the highs and lows. And to be honest, it's more of a side gig. It's more of like some play money. It's not really a full-time position. In the case of like me doing well with this and it continues to go well, one day I might do some live feed videos. I don't know. I see other people doing that. I'm not going to be like, let me risk everything on a futures trade, and you're not going to watch me make $8 grand in 5 minutes. But if I see, I made like 17, one of my biggest trades, I maybe made like 1,700 off of this pool right here, so like my future strategy would, I keep moving stuff. Back here it was like buy one more, going long, and then whenever it picked back up, I had $1,700 in my pocket. So that was kind of my, you calculate your max risk, your max downside, and I'll talk about this in future videos, but I use roughly 20% as my max downside, and then buy, and then when the market recovers, you're sitting in the green. So anyway, we could talk about that another day, but that's it for this one. I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'll try to, in the future, instead of just going over every stock, I'm going to probably limit the video to the ones that are moving, so that I'm not just like continuously saying, hey, look at Microsoft, it's still sitting still. Hey, look at Microsoft, it's still sitting still. Hey, everybody, look at Microsoft, it's still in the middle. Like, I'm not going to just do that over and over. So whenever I see a peak like this and it goes, I'll video the sell and video the exciting stuff. So that being said, if you like this, if you have investment questions or how to read like charts and not advice questions, I'm not going to give financial advice. Do not follow my trades. You will lose money. If you have questions about how to read the stock market or how to read charts or things that you can learn on Investopedia, then feel free to ask them, put them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer the questions. If your question says, how much money should I put into this stock? I'm not gonna answer that. So we'll see if we can make anything from this. Let me help you the best that I can as far as understanding the charts and stuff like that. And we'll see where we go. So until next time.